Okay, so I think before we dive into the actual presentation itself, I thought it'd be quite a good idea just to give you a bit of background on and look at our origins, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll be able to understand how sharing and electric mobility are inextricably linked, really. We actually started off with a congestion detection technology that we were building for a train operator for GTR at the time. And we were looking at real-time disruption on platforms and on the trains, on the carriages. And having built this product and the fact that we were receiving this data, they came back to us and actually said to us, well, look, it's all very well, but the issue for us at the moment is also to be able to mitigate the disruption. And so we started looking at this disruption mitigation side of things. And one of the obvious answers was to try and match or group the individuals who were disrupted and to try to offer them sort of onward shared rides. And so what we looked at doing was to potentially partner with existing ride-hailing companies like Uber and try to offer people shared rides to that original destination. And without even knowing it, to be honest, we had already entered the sort of mobility as a service paradigm, because we were now trying to essentially offer these seamless journeys, and it almost sort of fell into the last mile sort of arena. And naturally, what happened with the last mile was that the commute takes up a large percentage of that. And so we started focusing in on the commute more and approaching corporates and looking at how we could potentially offer their employees that last mile between, or first mile for that matter, but the last mile between the office and the rail stations. And then subsequently, having those conversations with the corporate, we started to understand that they were making the move towards electric mobility, and they were obviously trying to meet these sustainability targets, and we could be a part of that, because essentially, sharing and electric mobility are, I think, inextricably linked. And that pretty much brings us to the actual presentation itself, which is what we are now, and that is flock mobility. We position ourselves as a transport as a service company, and essentially what that means is that we just offer a comprehensive basket of goods for the corporates from a transport perspective. We offer the electric fleet. We offer the charging infrastructure that goes alongside that. We offer the professional drivers, as I'll discuss later on. And then sitting on top of all of that is our shared mobility platform. And the shared mobility platform itself looks to try and maximize the utilization of the electric fleet. And we do this by offering guests and employees shared transport options. At the core of what we do, we're essentially trying to offer the same convenience from our shared mobility platform or from a shared corporate fleet as employees actually currently gain from their private car. We started off with these pilots offering corporates the commute product, and that's essentially a managed commute service for the workforce. It comprises a sort of dynamic timetable where we're able to offer employees shared electric rides to or from work, and we look to group them based on the time that they would like to arrive at work or leave work, and also where they live. And it was all very well, and it was going really well, but what was coming out of the pilots was that the employees weren't getting the same convenience that they currently did from their private car. And so we started to look at this in more detail, and they still wanted to go to gym at lunchtime. They still wanted to go to the shops. They were trying to drop off their kids, or they weren't willing to use the service because they might have an emergency with their children and they needed access to a vehicle. And so what we looked to do was to try and offer potentially additional products or additional shared products on top of this original commute product outside of those commute hours. And so that's where the Combi Plus option came in. And we started to offer this self-drive option where people could actually book by the minute or by the hour, or even potentially by the weekend, and take these electric vehicles off-site and actually really start to maximize that utilization of these vehicles. And what we also started to do was to look at the mobility budget as a whole. And what we realized was that the corporates were spending an inordinate amount on taxi fares, and potentially to or from the station as well. And we had this professional driver who was offering this commute service. So why not bundle that in and be able to offer the corporate guests rides to or from the station or wherever it was they might be coming to or from. And we could save them that money as well. And that budget, we were looking at this from the mobility budget overall, and this potential saving for the corporate. I mean, in addition to this, what's quite useful with this product is that the employees are able to contribute towards the overall cost of the service, even though it might be subsidized. And so the overall cost of that mobility service does come down for the corporate. And at the same time, we've got these great sustainability credentials as well. So yeah, I mean, that to be honest is the core product. And yeah, I look forward to answering any questions later on. Over to you, Dan.